When darkness covered the land, Yudhishthira gave a silent signal. Bhima stepped forward, with a burning torch in his hand. He ignited the lacquer-coated walls. Within moments, the fire grew stronger every second. Massive flames consumed the palace. The night sky glowed bright red. The people of Varanavata rushed toward the burning building. They cried out in horror, believing the Pandavas were trapped inside. But beneath the burning palace, the Pandavas moved silently through the secret tunnel. Bhima walked at the front, carrying Queen Kunti when the path became difficult. Behind them, the fire destroyed every trace of their escape. Freedom lay just ahead. By sunrise, the Pandavas had safely escaped into the dense forest. Behind them, Lakshagriha had become nothing but ashes. Across Hastinapura, the shocking news spread quickly. The Pandavas are dead. Duryodhana smiled with satisfaction. He believed his greatest enemies were gone forever. The Pandavas wandered deep into the forests, with no palace, no kingdom, and no place to call home. They lived like ordinary travelers. Every day brought new dangers, yet together they never lost hope. One evening, the family stopped beneath a giant banyan tree. Exhausted from their long journey, they soon fell asleep. Only Bhima remained awake, standing guard. He watched over his mother and brothers throughout the silent night. Not far away, a powerful demon named Hidimba lived in the forest. His sense of smell was extraordinary. Suddenly, he detected the scent of human beings. Hungry and excited, he ordered his sister Hidimbi to bring the strangers to him. Hidimbi quietly approached the sleeping travelers, but the moment she saw Bhima, everything changed. His courage, his strength, and his noble presence captured her heart. She could not obey her brother's cruel command. Hidimbi quietly approached the sleeping travelers, but the moment she saw Bhima, everything changed. His courage, his strength, and his noble presence captured her heart. She could not obey her brother's cruel command. Moments later, the earth began to shake. Massive footsteps echoed through the forest. Hidimba had arrived. His furious roar frightened the birds into flight. Bhima stepped forward, ready for battle. The greatest fight of his life was about to begin. Moments later, the earth began to shake. Massive footsteps echoed through the forest. Hidimba had arrived. His furious roar frightened the birds into flight. Bhima stepped forward, ready for battle. The greatest fight of his life was about to begin. The two warriors collided with earth-shaking power. Trees snapped like twigs. Huge rocks shattered into pieces. Their battle echoed throughout the forest. The sleeping Pandavas awakened and rushed toward the sound. Again and again, Hidimba attacked with monstrous strength, but Bhima matched every blow. The battle continued until sunrise. Finally, Bhima lifted the giant demon into the air and hurled him to the ground. The earth shook with a mighty roar. With one final strike, Bhima defeated Hidimba. The demon's reign of terror had ended. The forest became peaceful once again. The sages and travelers would no longer fear the darkness. Hidimbi approached Queen Kunti with folded hands. I no longer belong to this forest. My heart belongs to Bhima. I wish to spend my life beside him. Queen Kunti looked toward Yudhishthira. After careful thought, they gave their blessing. For a time, Bhima remained with Hidimbi in the forest. Soon, they were blessed with a mighty son. His name was Gatotkacha. Even as a child, He possessed extraordinary strength and magical powers. Before leaving, Ghatotkacha bowed before the Pandavas. "Whenever you need me, I will come." After blessing Ghatotkacha, the Pandavas continued their journey. To avoid being recognized, they disguised themselves as humble Brahmins, wearing simple clothes. They walked from village to village, trusting only in destiny and each other. Their journey finally brought them to the quiet town of Ekachakra. A poor Brahmin family welcomed them with kindness. Though they had very little, they shared everything they owned. The Pandavas accepted their hospitality with gratitude. One evening, the Pandavas heard loud cries from inside the house. The Brahmin family was weeping. Kunti gently asked, "What has happened?" With trembling voices, they revealed the terrible truth. A terrible demon named Bakasura ruled the nearby forest. Every week, the people of Ekachakra were forced to send a cart filled with food, along with one member of their own family. Anyone who refused was killed by the demon. Flames spread through the palace like a raging storm. As the years passed, the fame of the Pandavas spread across the kingdom. The people of Hastinapura admired their courage, their wisdom, and their righteousness. Many even believed that Yudhishthira should become the future king. But these words filled Duryodhana's heart with fear. Late one night, Duryodhana met with his uncle, Shakuni, inside a quiet palace chamber. They spoke in whispers. "If the Pandavas continue to live, the throne will never be ours." Shakuni smiled. His mind had already begun weaving a dangerous plan. Shakuni leaned closer. "There is one way. No one will suspect. We will build a magnificent palace, a palace that looks beautiful, but is made entirely of lacquer, oil, and wax. One spark will turn it into a blazing inferno." Duryodhana immediately approved the plan. He ordered his loyal servant, Purachana, to build the deadly palace. It would be called Lakshagriha, a beautiful home, designed to become a deadly trap. Far away, workers began constructing the magnificent palace. Its walls glittered beautifully. Its fragrance filled the air. No ordinary person could recognize that beneath its beauty lay death itself. Far away, workers began constructing the magnificent palace. Its walls glittered beautifully. Its fragrance filled the air. No ordinary person could recognize that beneath its beauty lay death itself. Far away, workers began constructing the magnificent palace. Its walls glittered beautifully. Its fragrance filled the air. No ordinary person could recognize that beneath its beauty lay death itself. Yudhishthira accepted the king's command, but Vidura remained silent. His wise eyes noticed something unusual. He knew this invitation was no ordinary journey. Deep inside, he feared for the lives of the Pandavas. Before the Pandavas departed, Vidura quietly met Yudhishthira in private. He spoke in mysterious words. "The weapon that burns can also become the path to safety. The wise man finds the hidden road beneath danger." Yudhishthira listened carefully. He understood that Vidura was warning him of a deadly trap. Soon, Kunti and the 5 Pandavas left Hastinapura. The people gathered along the roads to bid them farewell. No one realized they were unknowingly walking toward a palace built for their destruction. After several days of travel, the Pandavas arrived at Varanavada. Before them stood a magnificent palace, its shining walls, its beautiful decorations, and its sweet fragrance made it appear like a royal paradise. But Yudhishthira remembered Vidura's warning. That very night, Yudhishthira quietly examined the palace walls. He touched the pillars and smelled the air. The walls were made of lacquer, wax, and oil. The palace was not a home. It was a giant trap, waiting to be set on fire. That night, Yudhishthira gathered his brothers in secret. He repeated every word of Vidura's warning. The palace is not our home. It is our prison. Bhima's eyes burned with anger. But Yudhishthira remained calm. We must not reveal that we know the truth. Bhima clenched his fists. Brother, allow me to destroy this palace tonight. Yudhishthira gently stopped him. If we act too soon, our enemies will strike again. We must wait and escape wisely. Soon, a trusted miner secretly arrived. He had been sent by Vidura. Every night, while the palace slept, he quietly dug a tunnel beneath the House of Lac. Their only path to survival lay beneath the earth. Days turned into weeks. The Pandavas lived as though nothing was wrong. They smiled. They greeted the people and attended the local festivals. But every night, their escape tunnel grew longer. Purochana watched them closely. Every movement, every conversation, every visitor. He believed the Pandavas suspected nothing. His confidence grew stronger with each passing day. At last, the secret tunnel was complete. Yudhishthira gathered his family once more. The time has come. Very soon, the House of Lac will burn, but we will disappear into the darkness. The final stage of the plan was about to begin. The day had finally arrived. Yudhishthira quietly gathered his family. That evening, they hosted a grand feast for the people of Varanavada. Music echoed through the palace. Laughter filled the halls. No one suspected that this would be the final night of Lakshagriha. As the celebration ended, the guests slowly returned to their homes. Purochana felt satisfied. He believed the Pandavas had fallen completely into his trap. That night, he slept peacefully inside the palace, unaware that destiny had already turned against him. Was terribly wrong.
Queen Kunti stepped forward. There is no need to fear. My son Bhima will take the cart. He will face Bakasura. The Brahmin family stared in disbelief. Bhima smiled confidently. Another great battle was about to begin. Early the next morning, Bhima loaded the cart with food, rice, fruits, milk, and countless delicious dishes. With a calm smile, he began his journey toward Bakasura's forest. The villagers watched in fear, praying for his safety. When Bhima reached the forest, he stopped beside a giant tree. Instead of calling the demon, he calmly sat down and began eating every meal on the cart, one after another. He enjoyed the feast with a smile. The delicious aroma reached Bakasura. The giant demon rushed toward the clearing. But what he saw filled him with rage. A stranger was eating the food prepared for him. His roar echoed across the entire forest. Bakasura attacked without warning. He struck Bhima with tremendous force. But Bhima did not even rise. He calmly finished his meal, then stood up and smiled. Now, it is my turn. The battle shook the forest. Trees crashed to the ground. Massive rocks shattered. Again and again, Bakasura attacked. But Bhima's strength was beyond imagination. With one mighty blow, he defeated the terrifying demon forever. The people of Ekachakra soon learned that Bakasura was no more. Their fear vanished. Their joy knew no bounds. They thanked Bhima for freeing their town from years of terror. But before sunrise, the Pandavas quietly left the village. Their journey had only just begun. After leaving Ekachakra, the Pandavas continued their journey as humble Brahmins. One day, a group of traveling sages passed by. They spoke excitedly of a grand event. In the Kingdom of Panchala, Princess Draupadi's Swayamvara was about to begin. Kings and warriors from across Bharat had already started gathering. Hearing this, Yudhishthira decided, "We shall travel to Panchala." Disguised as ordinary Brahmins, the Pandavas continued their journey. None of them knew that destiny was leading them toward a life-changing moment. Meanwhile, the city of Panchala glittered with celebration. Colorful banners decorated every street. Royal elephants, golden chariots, and mighty kings arrived from every corner of Bharat. The entire kingdom waited for Princess Draupadi to choose her husband. At the center of the royal arena, a remarkable challenge had been prepared. High above, a golden fish rotated endlessly. Below it, a bowl of still water reflected its image. The challenge was clear. The warrior must look only at the reflection and strike the eye of the spinning fish. The greatest kings stepped forward, one after another. They tried to lift the mighty bow. Some failed to lift it. Others failed to string it. The arena fell silent. Even the strongest warriors could not complete the challenge. Then, a powerful warrior stepped forward. His golden armor sparkled beneath the sun. It was Karna. The entire arena watched in silence. As he approached the mighty bow, would he succeed? The answer would change history forever.